On December 4th, 2012, a meeting was held at the Great Hall of the People to commemorate the 30th anniversary of the promulgation and implementation of China's current constitution. General Secretary Xi Jinping delivered a speech there.
依法治国是党领导人民治理国家的基本方略。法治是治国理政的基本方式。要更加注重发挥法治在国家治理和社会管理中的重要作用。全面推进依法治国，加快建设社会主义法治国家。
His speech was a clear indication of the Communist Party of China's resolute determination to quicken the strengthening of China's rule of law in the new era. Law is a key governing tool. Establishing good laws and implementing good governance have been central to the Communist Party of China in its leadership of the Chinese Revolution, construction and reform. From the marriage law to the first constitution, from the 1982 constitution to the formation of a socialist legal system with Chinese characteristics in 2011, the rule of law reflects the CPC's vision for long-term stability and the Chinese nation's perennial commitment to justice. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the CPC has been engaged in dealing with a set of complex issues concerning people's livelihood, social stability, and national security.
法治兴则国家兴，法治衰则国家乱。什么时候重视法治，法治昌明，什么时候就国泰民安。什么时候忽视法治，法治松弛，什么时候就国乱民怨。
In October 2014, the fourth plenary session of the 18th CPC Central Committee took place. This was the first CPC Central Committee plenary session to be themed on the rule of law. It adopted the decision of the CPC Central Committee on major issues pertaining to comprehensively promoting the rule of law. The decision stresses the integration of the leadership of the party, the position of the people as masters of the country, and the law-based governance of the country. It outlines the goal of establishing a socialist legal system with Chinese characteristics. The rule of law, above all, means governing according to a constitution. In November 2014, the Standing Committee of the 12th National People's Congress passed legislation to designate December the 4th National Constitution Day. In July 2015, the system of pledging allegiance to the Constitution was formally established.
国家主席习近平5月28日签署了第45号主席令， 中华人民共和国民法典已由第13届全国人民代表大会第3次会议于2020年5月28日通过，现已公布。
感到无比的激动，非常的高兴，因为确实民法典，它的问世是我们几代民法学人的夙愿，能够全面的保护老百姓的人身财产这个人格权利啊，维护社会的长治久安。
In 2014, the CPC Central Committee arranged for the drafting of the Civil Code. The next year, the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress started the work. The drafting team conducted 10 public grassroots-level consultations, collecting over 1 million opinions on key terms from over 420,000 citizens. The Civil Code systematically integrated norms of 70 years of legal practice, drew on China's traditional legal culture, and benefited from the legal achievements of the human civilizations. As a declaration of civil rights, the Civil Code provides an important guarantee of the population's quality of life, meeting the people's expectation for good laws and good governance. Its contents range widely from contract signing, company establishment, to divorce and pet keeping.
可以说，伟大的时代诞生伟大的法典。我们国家的民法典呢，正是在中国特色社会主义进入新时代这一大的历史背景下应运而生的，具有重大而深远的意义。
It is said that when the law of the world is good, there will be order in the world. When the law of the state is good, there will be order in the state. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, legislative work has been defined by large numbers, importance, fast pace, and effectiveness. Be it the nuclear safety law or the biosecurity law, national security is protected. Be it the cybersecurity law or the electronic signature law, emerging fields of the information age have legal norms. And the national anthem law, the law on the protection of heroes and martyrs, safeguard the Chinese nation's ethics. The constitution-centered socialist legal system with Chinese characteristics continues to improve itself. Law stabilizes the world. Morality nourishes the mind. Law is the statement of morality. Morality is the law in the heart. On May 12, 2018, Xie Yong, a fireman in Huai'an, Jiangsu province, died in firefighting. He was only 21. When people were grieving, some slanderous remarks appeared on the internet.
习总书记说过，一个有希望的民族不能没有英雄，我们不能让英雄，既流血又流泪，所以在今年的5月1号呢，新出台了《英雄烈士保护法》，就是将对英雄烈士的保护上升到国家法律的制度。
On May 21, 2018, the Huai'an People's Procuratorate filed a public interest civil lawsuit against the suspect for disgracing a martyr, becoming the first such case since the law taking effect. Respect the heroes in the name of the nation. Defend the heroes with the force of the law. The integration of the core socialist values into law defines a new era of good governance. The vitality of law lies in its enforcement. So does the authority of law. The government is the main actor in exercising the rule of law. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, China has been pursuing coordinated progress in law-based governance, law-based exercise of state power, and law-based government administration. This is a holistic approach to strengthening the rule of law in the country, in its government, and in society. The CPC Central Committee and the State Council have issued a number of guidelines for enhancing the rule of law, continuously refining the blueprint for its implementation. Governments at all levels have compiled lists of powers and responsibilities. The primary responsibility for advancing the rule of law lies with party and government leaders. The State Council has greatly reduced administrative items for approval and completely eliminated non-administrative ones. This commitment to letting daylight fall on the exercise of public power testifies to the people-centric nature of the Communist Party of China. Justice is the last defensive line to maintain a fair and just society. Fairness is the basic requirement of the common people for justice. If there's unfairness, the common people will have grievances, eventually resulting in social instability.
我们要依法公正对待人民群众的诉求，努力让人民群众在每一个司法案件中都能感受到公平正义，绝不能让不公正的审判伤害人民群众感情，损害人民群众权益。
Enable the people to feel that justice is served in every case before the courts. To fulfill this solemn pledge, the Chinese judicial system has undergone a profound and fundamental revolution. In Xining, Qinghai Province, Judge Li Chengling is hearing a case. She knows all about the pressures brought about by judicial accountability reform.
因为之前的时候，你自己拿不准的案子，你可能就想，那我就先这么写吧，写了以后反正有厅长、院长给我把关，我也不担心。但是现在真的是每一份裁判文书，包括就撰写的时候，你要去收集大量的资料，然后去慎重的考虑这个裁判结果，无数遍的要进行核稿，所以整个就是法官责任心得到了很大的提升。
The judicial accountability system requires the judges to take on lifelong responsibility for their cases, touching upon the key issue of the reform.
我是重庆市奉节县人民法院的一名法官助理，今天要到村里巡回审理一个民事案件。从派出法庭到村上，沿途风景很美，但我们无暇欣赏。如果没得证据支撑，事实应该啷个认定？被告没得委托代理人，啷个跟他解释，他更容易明白那个法律规定？这些问题萦绕在法官的脑海中。以前为了处理大山深处的案件，我们需要借溜索到达村民驻地，解开双方当事人的心结和矛盾，将公平正义的司法温暖传播到每一个角落。这也是巡回法庭的意义所在。
Since the 18th CPC National Congress, the judicial system reform has been centered around the people. The case filing review system is changed into a case filing register system, so that legal cases can be quickly filed and investigated. People's courts at various levels set up circuit courts to facilitate local resolutions of disputes. The increasingly convenient and efficient judicial system is a guardian of the people's well-being. Sitting among many mountains is Wanfeng Lake. It straddles 3 provinces of Guizhou, Yunnan and Guangxi and is an important source of water for the Pearl River Delta. In recent years, due to uncontrolled development of the aquaculture industry, its ecology environment has rapidly deteriorated. In December 2019, the Supreme People's Procuratorate decided to investigate the damage to Wanfeng Lake's ecological environment. This represented the first public interest litigation case directly filed and handled by the Supreme People's Procuratorate after the establishment of the new system.
这会呢有2个议题，第一个议题呢是对这个万丰湖生态环境行政公益诉讼这个专案，我们的办案的这个目标和效果来进行这个听证。
Procuratorial organs at various levels work together on this case, with strong support from the 3 provincial governments. The cross-regional and intra-governmental efforts have proven effective in solving the case. Now the ecological environment of Wanfeng Lake has improved significantly. Its natural beauty is returning.
我们要运用群众智慧，为了人民，也是要依靠人民，问计于民。我们把专家请来，村民的代表请来，听听他们的意见，听听他们的呼声，怎么样发挥好这个万丰湖的生态的经济价值，让老百姓一方面享受青山绿水，同时能够提高 经济收益，这也是我们检察机关怎么样借助万岛，让我们万丰湖成为绿水青山，就是金山银山的一个经典的样本。
Justice is essential to the rule of law. An unjust trial can be deadly to social justice. In order to eliminate manipulation, partiality, and various forms of corrupted activities in the judicial system, the CPC Central Committee and State Council issued 3 ordinances to restrict personal interferences in legal procedures and prevent unjust cases being initiated from the very outset. An unfair trial can be worse than 10 crimes. In recent years, China reviewed past problems and corrected a group of major miscarriages of justice. For the cases of Chun Man, Hook Jilt, and Nie Shubin, retrials were ordered to exonerate the innocent. In the cases of Sun Xiaoguo, Guo Wense, and Batu Nongge, retrials were ordered to punish the guilty. By eliminating the influence of power, money, and connections in the judicial process, and making sure the law takes its course impartially and scientifically, China is making justice available for all of its citizens. Implemented between 2016 and 2020, the 7th 5-year legal publicity program was a success. Starting in 2021, another such program is unfolding according to plan. Led by CPC committees, collective management among various departments ensure the progress of legal publicity. People's awareness of the rule of law is strengthened and moral standards elevated. Using law to solve problems is becoming a new trend, contributing to the construction of a law-based society in China. The rule of law is a fundamental principle by which the CPC leads Chinese people in running the country. The leadership of the CPC guarantees the socialist rule of law and is the soul of the socialist rule of law with Chinese characteristics. In March 2018, the first session of the 13th National People's Congress adopted a constitutional amendment that defined the CPC's leadership as the quintessential feature of socialism with Chinese characteristics. After the 19th CPC National Congress, a new institution, Commission for Law-Based Governance of the CPC Central Committee, was set up to lead in efforts to improve the rule of law in China. Between 2018 to 2020, Xi Jinping chaired 3 meetings of this commission advancing the rule of law in China.
我宣誓，忠于中华人民共和国宪法，维护宪法权威，履行法定职责，忠于祖国，忠于人民，恪尽职守，廉洁奉公，接受人民监督，为建设富强、民主、文明、和谐、美丽的社会主义现代化强国努力奋斗。宣誓人：习近平。
Just as accumulated steps eventually reach 1,000 miles and a gathering of small currents becomes a river, so incremental implementations of the rule of law add up to many precious lessons learned. In November 2020, the CPC convened its first central conference on work related to overall law-based governance. It was in this meeting that Xi Jinping thought on the rule of law was established as the guiding thought for law-based governance in China. That would lead to answers to a series of important questions, such as why comprehensive rule of law is needed in the new era and how it can be implemented. This body of thought represents the guiding principle for China's advances in the legal field. The world is undergoing significant changes unseen in a century. Every government faces the challenge of achieving long-term peace and stability. The CPC's answer is implementing the overall law-based governance. This is the result of the effort and sacrifice of generations of Chinese communists. On December the 10th, 2014, CPC member Zhou Bihua, who was then Deputy Director of Shanghai High People's Court, died of a heart attack at work. He was 47 years old. This manuscript, filled with revisions and comments, was a pilot implementation plan for the judicial reform in Shanghai courts Zhou was drafting before he passed away. On the journey to achieving overall law-based governance, numerous communists are using legal weapons to eliminate evil and uphold justice, just as Zhou Bihua used to. It's like a torch relay. By passing on the fruits of their pioneering work, it's thanks to the striving of generations of Chinese communists that the beacon has been erected, the overall law-based governance. It is this that will lead China towards long-term peace, security, and a better tomorrow.
从长夜到日出，走过千山万水的路，每一步都是信仰足迹，烙印下新中国版图。从贫弱到富强，走出复兴，为业征途，每一天都有奋斗牺牲，只为人民拥抱幸福，凭着心中坚定信念，敢叫日月换新天，循关漫道，风雨无阻，汇聚起中华儿女同向前。从贫弱到富强，走出复兴，为业征途。